Don't forget to follow us on our social media pages. Like, share, and subscribe. This podcast is sponsored by the following. Remington, made with pride in the USA. Iconic American impact. Wenig custom gun stocks. Head on down for your custom fitting. Remember, winners shoot Wenig. Shot Tracker, like having a coach on your barrel. For more info, go to takeaimtech.com. Life is too short to miss. RM Shooting Clinics, helping shooters from coast to coast. Have Ricky take your game to the next level. Zach Nanini at Northwestern Mutual. Trusted advice from someone you know. We believe in putting people first. Other supporters for Trap Talk. The Nevada State Trapshooting Association. Don't miss their 75th annual state shoot this October in Las Vegas. The NSTA puts on some great shoots, and they're going big for this year's state. Go to nvtrap.com to check out their program and all other shoots as well. Welcome to another episode of Trap Talk. I've got my co-host Richard Marshall Jr. here, and we have the pleasure of talking to Mr. Jason Folvag. Welcome to the show, Jason.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Awesome.
Yeah,
awesome.
welcome,
Ricky,
Jason.
could you do us the honors again and introducing our friend Jason?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm actually out in New Jersey right now teaching. But we've got Jason Folvag, and I've known Jason since I started shooting in about 1987, 88, I guess. Jason's been shooting since 1986. He's got about 100, I think it's 100-some thousand registered targets. Jason's a 60-plus North Dakota State Championship champion, which is an awesome feat. I've been to North Dakota and shot, and they do throw some great time, great gun clubs, with some tough targets, of course, with the weather they deal with up there. But Jason's also a 5-time All-American. He's been an opener mixed team All-American, I think, one time, and the rest of those are sub-junior and junior. Like I said, he's in the North Dakota Hall of Fame. He does have multiple satellite grand championships. I know he's beat me several times in a few of the doubles down in Tucson. But Jason also has a long run of 282 from the 27 down at Bismarck. And then he's got 5 100s from the 27. So Jason's been around for a long time. Like I said, started in 86. So what's that, 37 years he's been shooting. So I'm sure he's got a lot of knowledge to share here with us today. So welcome to the show, Jason.
Thank you.
Awesome. Well, yeah, I appreciate that introduction. Jason's the kind of guy that's won so much stuff that he doesn't really need an introduction, right? But for people that haven't heard of him, from North Dakota, correct, Jason?
Yes, sir.
So pretty windy up there all the time when you're shooting?
It's rare to find a nice, calm day. It really is. Our average is 15 mile an hour plus.
Is it more face wind or more from your back or swirling, or is it consistent at all, or just whatever you get?
It can come from any direction at any time.
Well, before we get into that, because I know we're going to talk a lot about shooting in the wind and your style, tell the listeners a little bit about yourself, how you got started into trap shooting, and what brought you to where you are today.
Oh, it's the first time I ever shot trap. I had a old bolt action Stevens 20 gauge shotgun. And my dad and I went up to the gun club and we just shot one round and just kind of messed around a little bit. And I don't even remember how old I was there, but it was quite a few years after that. Me and my buddy Mike Kiefler went up to the local gun club to get ready for hunting season. So we were up there shooting a couple rounds of trap and stuff, and got talking to a couple guys up there, and I kind of really got interested in it. And then, didn't think much of it for about another year or so. And then I went up and started shooting a little bit of league and messed around shooting some non-registered, like meat shoots, turkey shoots, so on, whatever stuff. And then it just, when I turned 16, it just went out and shot a couple good scores, and it just really kind of took off from there. One of the guys at the gun club actually told me, he said, "Do you know they have tournaments for this?" And I had no idea.
So once you learned about the tournaments, you transitioned from like a league shooter, turkey shooter to an ATA shooter.
Yep. My first shoot was in Plentywood, Montana, non-registered shoot. ATA, but it wasn't registered. So I went up there and shot and did, shot juniors and stuff, did okay. And then I think it was a weekend after, 2 weeks after that, Williston, North Dakota had a ATA shoot. So that was my first ATA registered shoot.
So you
And what year
started
was
as a
that?
junior, so you've been in it your whole life.
Yep.
Yeah.
I started when I was 16. Yep.
Okay. So did you make the All-American team back then when you were a junior, or did you just make it when you were on the men's team?
Nope. When I was a junior, though, believe 87, 88, I was the captain of the junior team.
Good for you. Congratulations.
Zach's all happy. I got another junior kid in here.
Hey, it's always nice to be with a fellow junior captain on the show.
Dang right.
So going back to the wind, do you think that shooting in that wind all the time helps when you go to other places and it's not windy? Or tell the listeners of your experiences of shooting on that target.
Oh, absolutely. If you can shoot in the wind, you could shoot anywhere at any time. I took a Frank Little class in Minot, North Dakota. I believe it was the end of 86, maybe 87, somewhere in there. And he really changed my style and the way I approach the game and the way I might hold points and all that stuff. And since then, I've modified it a little bit to more fit me, especially in North Dakota, Montana, Wyoming, where the wind just blows all the time.
So the other day I was looking on, I think it was trapshooters.com, or maybe it was the ATA page on Facebook, and people were talking about, well, what do you do when you shoot in the wind? And there was a lot of answers. Some were you shoot faster, some were you shoot slower, some were you open up your choke. That being said, what do you think is the secret in your mind? Is it looking at the target longer? Is it being more aggressive? What are the things that you're doing on a windy day that's causing you to have success?
I hold on top of the house all the time. No matter if it's windy, if it's bluebird day, does not matter. I want that target above the barrel at all times. If that target is above the barrel, you can make a move and get to the right spot at the right time. If you hold a high gun and you get them start hopping and your gun starts hopping up and down, it's not a good deal.
So you're like myself and Ricky, you're on the house, you're letting that target come out. And I guess, do you feel like you're attacking more on a windy day, or do you feel like you're laying off and you're watching the bird and finding the break spot more like a sporting clays where you're framing the shot?
Days are different. Some days I like to get a little aggressive, especially in doubles on a windy day. I try and get a little more aggressive. But as far as singles and handicap, singles especially, I think you can get too aggressive on a windy day. You can start snapping and overrunning a target or blowing past them, whatever. You really have to have a excellent focus on a target on a windy day to make a correct move.
So really moving wherever it's going. Singles, you've got time. You're looking at that bird. Instead of trying to run the gun past and unload, you're just saying, okay, there it is. It's going up. I'm going up. It's going down. I'm going down. But you're recognizing and identifying. And then I would assume in handicap, you're trying to do the same thing, but it's faster, right? You don't have as much time. So you're making that shot. And in doubles, you said more aggressive. So on the first shot, a lot more aggressive, and then looking at the second shot and kind of saying, okay, where are we at? Kind of a mix of your singles and handicap, I guess.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep. I get really aggressive on the first shot, cause you kind of know where it's going to be, but I do not hold a high gun in doubles either on the first shot. I'm up off the house, maybe a foot. Depends on how high the targets are. If you have a headwind or a tailwind or side wind. If I have a headwind, I'm up off the house a little bit more because you got a rising target. But I really want to jump on that first target as fast as I can and still see it. I don't want to snap shoot it and then make a good move to the second target.
So you're pointing everything out. You're not trapping anything. You're not spot shooting anything. You're looking at the bird. If it's sliding, you're moving with it. That's what your focal point is on.
Absolutely.
Now,
Absolutely.
What kind of gun are you shooting? Are you shooting a top single, unsingle? What equipment are you using, Jason?
I got a Krieghoff, a trap special. I bought at the spring ground 4 or 5 years ago now. And I shoot a top single and
Okay.
and 30-inch doubles.
So I know me and Ricky shoot the 30-inch doubles too. So we're all like big fans of the 30-inch double over under. With that, I know I shoot an unsingle, Ricky shoots an unsingle. What's the reasoning behind the top? Have you always shot a top or do you see something with a top that you prefer?
No, I've always shot a top single gun. I started with a Ludic mono gun. Shot that gun for like 24 years. And then I shot a Beretta 682X for doubles. And I shot that gun for 20 some years. So, it's really hard for me to change. But then I went to a different gun and it wasn't holding together. And when Krieghoff come with adjustable ribs and stuff, I really like that because you can fine tune your gun to you and make it shoot where you want it to shoot. So that's why I went with the Krieghoff. I really like it.
So, Jake, did Frank Little teach you those hold points and everything? You took his lesson?
Yep. Well, he taught me hold points on the house, like 1 and 4, I hold on the corners. Number 3, I'm in the middle. And then, quarter house, 2 and 4.
Okay. That's
But
what I wanted.
Yep.
But
He always said, measure the top of the bird height and the top of the house, and then shoot a third or hold a third of high on that. And I did shoot that way for a few years, but I've come to figure in North Dakota, when that wind is blowing like a son of a gun, you can't hold a high gun. It'll eat you up.
no, that's how. Yeah.
Yep. I basically shoot his same game that he taught me, except I'm on the top of the house. I'm holding off the house, except for the first shot.
Let me make sure I'm hearing that correctly. Frank Little said, wherever you're breaking the target, go down 2/3 or go down 1/3.
1/3.
So he says if I'm breaking it at 10 feet, he's coming down to 7 and he's holding there and waiting on that target to clear. That was his style.
His deal. Yep.
But you said, well, everything's moving around and I want to see it. And I always want to attack from the back. So I'm down all the way on the house and fighting and charging into the bird.
Yep, absolutely. And I said, I did shoot that style for a few years, but I did find, especially in handicap, the lower I held, the better my scores were. I could see the target better. I could make a better move on the target instead of, having it surprise me from up under the barrel or anything like that.
Yeah. Well, and Zach, you don't understand this because you're from California. So you always shot lollipop targets on the West Coast.
The easy stuff.
No. But in the Midwest, all the targets, we never got a lot of face.
No.
A lot of edge. So, and
absolutely.
Frank, my coach and mentor, he held high and he did it in handicap too. But it was super high like singles. But I said, you know what? I want to be on the house so I can always see the target. And I just learned the way I drove through was good. If I drove through the target, I broke the target better. So versus wait target, because it was like you waited, as a young kid, you're like, okay, where's that? No, that didn't work. So I was the same way. I shoot the same way. And that was just the old school Midwest deal. You didn't have high targets. So why hold a high gun?
Drive it out. And it's shooting where the bird's at. Whether we throw 50 high ones, 50 low ones, both of you guys are going to the bird. And I feel like I try to shoot the same way. I mean, just trigger control. So
absolutely.
do you try to break everything at the same area and have that same trigger control, or is it when you get the gun to the target and you just snap it?
I call that bad rhythm. If you're breaking the target in the same place every time, all the time, I call that bad rhythm. Because sooner or later, you're not going to be there, or the target's not.
Exactly.
So it's when you get there, it's when you see it, it's when it's right for you. You're shooting the target.
That's the plan. Yep.
So are you a 2-eyed guy or a 1-eyed guy? And I'm assuming you're right-handed, correct?
Handed 2-eyed guy.
2 eyes, right-handed, on the house, call pull, let the target clear, and then you're just tracking it out and you're running right through the target.
Yep. And sometimes, you can break them 2-3 feet out of the house, and sometimes it gets out their ways. It just, and that's what, one of the things I remember from Frank Little's class, he said, it does not matter where it goes or how it gets there. If you hold on to that trigger until it's there, you got it.
That's a perfect. So I'm out here in New Jersey at Pine Valley Gun Club teaching, and a class today, I got 15 people signed up for the class, and about half of them, they're always trying to shoot where it's supposed to be today. And I said, guys, ladies, just, it goes up, go up after it. I said, it's trigger control. And one of the guys in it, he said his exact response was, well, I was told you just want to go pull bang.
Yeah, no.
I said,
that's the worst thing you can do.
Yeah.
That's absolutely the worst thing.
You see it? Oh, there it is. Go up at it and just drive through. Now there is a difference, Zach, though, from me being on the house to be on the house. My gun's pointed down, pointed up.
Well, that is true. And mine's like right in the middle.
You tell people get to look at the top of the target all the time. I get to look at the bottom.
You're shooting that black ring out of that white flyer, huh?
There you go.
Hey, I'll talk to Rob from White Flyer and see if we can get some underbellies painted on these targets.
Yeah,
that's a good idea.
Put a little JF initial on the bottom of the white flyer just for him.
Perfect.
Oh, that's messed up.
There isn't a short joke I haven't heard, so bring them on.
You know what I tell people, Zach? I said, I've been, Jason and I have been friends a long time. I said, damn, he's the same height that we were 12. So
yep.
He knows how to blow up a target, though. That's all I can say. I mean,
and that's one thing is for our listeners out there is, Jason's been shooting since '86, but he's also a farmer and a rancher, so he's busy a lot. So he doesn't get to shoot a lot of the major shoot. You come now. You don't come to the Grand, do you?
I can't. I'm harvesting that time every year, all the time. There's no way I can get around it. That's my harvest time.
Now I bet you Cody Tansgard wished you were harvesting during North Dakota State, but
oh, he's a good guy.
Yeah, that's another one. And all the shot, and he's won a lot of stuff in North Dakota. And I mean, you guys. That's the thing. I've been up there teaching up in Bismarck the last couple of years. I was up there, and a lot of good people up there, just down to earth. They love to shoot. They love to just host shoot, and I'd like to get back up there to shoot. It's hard when this year, I think it's right on top of Iowa again.
Yep. It always is.
And I was giving away $10,000 if you break 100 handicap.
We won't see you in North Dakota.
I think Jason's a testament to how there are some good shooters in the country, great shooters that don't get to travel a lot. I remember back when Dave Kelly was shooting like fire in California, he wasn't on the All-American team. He never traveled. He never went anywhere. He ran his trucking company. He went up and down California and north. And if you were at an ATA shoot from Oregon to Washington to California, Nevada, in that area, he was winning it. But he wasn't going out. And Jason not being able to go to the Grand, I mean, that just shows a testament of how good of a shooter he really is. And I mean, 61 titles, multiple hunters from the 27, the Hall of Famer.
but he's a family guy. He's running a farm, right? And he's putting his family first and doing what needs to be done. And I'm sure a lot of people are happy that he's not going to the Grand every year. But that being said, Jason, I want to focus on that for a second. 61 plus titles. I mean, we don't know the exact number, but that being said, what were you thinking about when you were winning those titles? What's your focal point? And what keeps you going and keeps you in the game, winning and winning and winning when you've won it so many times already?
I truly and dearly love the game. I really do. And the people associated with it are fantastic people. So that's what really keeps me going. But, ever since I can remember, I wanted to be the best of the best. That's what drives me. When I get on the line, like say North Dakota Singles Championship, whatever, I'm there and I'm all in, no matter what. And when I'm done, 9 times out of 10, I'm just mentally exhausted. I have to go back and sit down, take a break. I can't stand up on the line all day and like I used to as a kid. I'm 50 when I'm 52 or whatever. But I just when I'm doing it, I'm there to win, no matter what.
So let's talk about that. You said mentally exhausted. When you're going through and it's the 200 singles and the championship event at your state shoot, what's your process? What are you doing before you start? Maybe the night before, what are your thoughts as a champion, knowing that you've won it a bunch of times, knowing that you can win it? It's, one of those events that's kind of yours to win. So what do you think about? And then what's your routine going through that day?
Well, before the event starts and stuff, I try and visualize the perfect shot, whether it's a straightaway, quarter angle, left or right hand target. I try and mentally frame that in my mind, how the target looks, where my gun is in relation to that target, and how everything comes together when you pull the trigger. I try and focus on that, keep a positive attitude, just really try and focus on the perfect shot.
Every time. And that
Every
in
time.
itself gets you ready. And then when you are 190 straight and you're closing out that 200, are you changing anything on those last 5 or 10 shots, or are you trying to slow yourself down at all, or what's when you're finishing a score, what are you thinking?
That depends on the day also. Sometimes you get a little too excited and you start trying to overrun yourself. Then you're going to have to pull the reins back and say, hey, slow down a little bit. But when I get that close, if I feel comfortable, I try and change nothing.
Consistency.
If it's been working for 195 shots, why change it now?
Yeah, stay with the same plan. I think one thing we've heard from a lot of people, though, is they get to that last box and they start getting nervous and they either start going fast or they start going slow, or they start trying to be more careful on that last 25, be more precise, more aiming with the gun. And that generally leads to failure at some level. I mean, you're just trying to go with the same tempo all the way through. And then the exhaustion comes after you finish, correct?
Absolutely. Yep. Yeah. And like you said, we've all been there. We get nervous. We tried to hurry it up or slow it down or change something to make it better. And I usually find that doesn't work very well. I mean, if you're having issues, then maybe try and slow it down or change a little bit of something. But if you feel comfortable and everything's going fine, I don't change nothing.
Stay with it. Stay consistent. So you've shot your whole life, won a bunch of crap. That being said, training, are you still practicing a lot? Are you not? Are you not practicing? Like, what does that look like for you now versus back in the day?
You know what? I used to shoot some practice when I was a kid, but I don't shoot practice anymore. My practice is ATA events. That's what I do. And I shoot a little league out here at the gun club and in Medicine Lake, Montana. We shoot leagues at both of those clubs. So it's not like I don't shoot it all off season or during the summer, when I'm not at a shoot. but I don't go somewhere and shoot 100 targets or, 200 targets and handicap or doubles or whatever. I mean, I'll probably go over and shoot 50 rounds of singles, just for league. But
So,
we don't have a lot of time to shoot a lot of practice.
yeah. Now, Jason, where's your home club at?
Right here in Grenora, there's a little
Okay.
club just west of town here that I've shot at ever since I can remember. Yep.
How many traps did they have?
They have 2, but they only use 1. They got 1 pat trap in the house. Yep. And they just shoot singles. At Medicine Lake, though, they got a really good shoot in the first weekend of June. So that's my first shoot of the year usually. And they got 2 houses over there, and they shoot 300 a day for 2 days.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah. And it's been getting to be a big shoot. So they've actually put doubles on Friday and then singles and handicap on Saturday and Sunday because they're getting to be so many people showing up. It's hard for them to get it done.
Yeah, with 2 traps.
Yeah. Great people, great place to shoot. But, it's Montana, so the wind blows there too.
Yeah. No, that is the thing in the Midwest. Zach, of course, lives in Missouri now, so he's seen a little bit of the stuff, over the last few years. But yeah, the Midwest, we get a lot of wind,
Mhm.
and that was one of the things when I came up and shot at the North Dakota State shoot at Bismarck. You got some traps in face north, you got some traps in
Yep.
face. Of course,
Yep.
we were stuck on the east traps and shooting the singles, and I was fortunate. Well, my son Tyler broke his first 100 straight at Bismarck.
Yep. I remember that. Yeah.
And I broke a 200, and I remember finishing and going, I'll take a 0 on this last post to let him have a 5.
Right.
Some of that, and
Absolutely.
they go, you would take a 0. And I said, listen, I've been fortunate to break several 200s. And I said, for my son to be his first 100, I said, I'd have taken a 0 the last 25.
Right. Exactly.
I
Yep.
said, you don't get those memories and that
No.
time, all the time. So, but like I said, yeah, the people up there are great. Now, when will you start back shooting that? So
Oh,
June?
Yep. First weekend in June. Yep.
Okay.
Medicine Lake shoot. But Billings has a couple shoots coming up, but I don't think I'm going to be able to make it. I'm going to depending. I got to start planting here beginning of May. So,
Now, how many acres do you farm up there?
well, between Dad and I, it's like 4,700.
Wow. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
a lot. That's a lot of farming.
Now,
That's
what
plenty.
are you farming up there?
Oh, we plant durum wheat, peas, lentils, canola, soybeans. So we try and keep it in a rotation and soil health stuff. So
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
yeah, and then as soon as we get done planting, we got 200 head of cows we got to get sorted and put out the pasture. So
So if I make my way up there, you're saying we can get a good steak.
oh, absolutely.
I like them.
You're
I like
right.
them like a little 2-incher.
So do I. So do I.
Just throw them down, a little baked potato, we'll be good to go.
I got you. Got you covered.
So, Jason, do you have like a favorite shoot that you go to every year? Like, if you could pick one?
Tucson, Spring Grand.
Well, hey, you weren't lacking on the win this year.
No, I felt right at home.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't
Yeah.
get me and Ricky just came back from Dubai, and we didn't get a chance to go this year. We normally go, but I mean, I heard it was really windy this year, like out of normal windy.
Yeah, it was challenging. Yep.
Just another day in the office for you.
That's the way we like it. We're up here in North Dakota, keeps the mosquitoes away.
Yeah.
So, Jason, is there anything that you really think you want to share with the shooters, either new shooters or shooters that have been a while, that you think is helpful for them? Is there anything in your mind that we haven't discussed today that you want to get out there?
I just say never give up. If it's not working, try something else, or just if you enjoy what you're doing and how you're doing it, don't ever give up.
Yep.
Yeah, and I
Always
think
say
that
have fun.
that happens a lot. I've had that happen to me before, where it's a windy day and you're down a few birds and you're just like, man, I'm out of the race. And then you get to the clubhouse and you look and you missed a couple on the last trap and you had lost it by a bird, or you lost it by, just you were in it, but you didn't know you were in it, and you kind of
Right.
gave up on yourself. And I think when you're shooting in those conditions like that, you really can give up. I mean, it's not like, it's not like you have to run them to win every time. I mean, you can win and miss.
I mean, that's why we still shoot the game. If we never missed, we wouldn't play. Wouldn't be any fun.
Exactly.
I do like it. I do like it when we don't miss, though.
Well, yeah, me too. But it's, and that gets back to another thing. It's a challenge. Challenge yourself. Push yourself. I mean, if you can break 5 in a row, why can't you break 500 in a row?
That's a great thought to share. Ricky, is there anything else you want to ask?
No, I think we're good. I think, I'm sure we'll have to have Jason back on, after his state shoot. I'm sure he'll win a couple. Where's the state shoot at this year, Jason? Is it back in Bismarck?
Yep.
So I'm sure you're going to, win 2 or 3 more state championships.
I hope you're right.
Hey, I'm betting on you, Jason. I think you got it.
Thanks, Zach.
That being said, is there anyone that you'd like to thank, either, friends, family, sponsors, anything like that?
Yeah, I got lots of friends, lots of family. Yep, absolutely. Yep. My friends and my family.
Okay. Well, we want to thank our show sponsors. Obviously Remington. We've got Richard Marshall Jr. shooting clinics there. That's, a definite good one. Shot Tracker and Wenig Stockworks. And then if you need a financial guy, Zach Nannini at your service here with a smile. So,
All right.
That being said, we gotta hide that money from the old IRS man. So
That's a good idea.
Life insurance.
Oh, whatever you need, right? So that being said, this has been fun. I'm sure the listeners are going to love this episode. They're probably going to send us a bunch of questions, Jason, and we'll have to have you on again. Cause I mean, like I said, you're one of those guys that if you went to the Grand every year, you'd be hurting some people. So, we know that you're a force to be reckoned with, and coast to coast guys know of Jason. So, we appreciate you giving us your time and your expertise today.
Thank you guys very much. I appreciate it.
Yep. Thank you. I appreciate it, Jason.
Have a good night.
You guys take care.
You too.
Thanks for tuning in to Trap Talk.